Hi, this is JR, and I'm making a quick little video to show off some of my wires. I know it's exciting, right? So, first of all, this is a surge protector, and within that surge protector, it happens not to be plugged in right now, just for me to be able to hold it up and show you where my webcam is. But I've got lots of wires going into this surge protector, as you can see. There's the orange plug and the two black plugs, and those are separate plugs where I got some copper wire and then actually put them into the plug so that they can really firmly stay in the surge protector. It's a little bit hard. It's a lot harder to pull them out. This orange one might be the most expensive. This one might cost me $4, and then the wire might be $1.20 of wire or something. And the orange one happens to be the best if you want to set several in a row, because these two are round and they're actually a little oversized for this strip, and you can't put them end to end. That's why they're spread out, because you wouldn't be able to put them end to end. So there's two other things that I have in here, which is, besides these three big plugs, I've got two wires. This wire right here, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but my interest was to show you guys this wire, which is, I'm just going to pull out some of these others to make it a lot easier to see what I mean. So we've got this this wire that's pink, and I'm going to pull it out here, and it's a little hard to pull out because I've jammed it in there pretty good, but it's looped over. So I wanted to show you what I did. I looped it over kind of like a paper clip, and by looping it like that, it allows it to stay much more snug in the surge protector. In this case, I've got another wire that's looped over. Here it is. I'm not going to take as much time to show you this one, but there's another looped wire. I put it back in, and in this case, it's a uninsulated wire. I think most of the others here are insulated, but this one is uninsulated, and I actually like the uninsulated. It's the best. And what I've done to help secure that wire is I simply wrapped it around the surge protector. You can see, it goes into the ground hole, and then it's wrapped around the surge protector, and that just gives it more snugness than if it was otherwise stuck in there. This wire here, I think, is a 12 gauge, and this one is a 14 gauge. I think I kind of prefer the 14s, but you can get whatever gauge wire pretty much you like. So plugging them in is quite simple. Typically what I do, you can do this with one wire. I will get a wire and like this wire here, it's uninsulated, and I can wrap it around my arm, my wrist, my belly, my neck. These are really quite rigid wires, so it's as far as something like choking, it's somewhat difficult to choke on a wire this rigid. I would expect it would pull out of the wall, I would think, but you certainly can avoid putting it right around your neck if that's a concern to you. You can pretty much do it however you want. Some things will have like some people will sell it with I guess a plastic strap, and it's just like one point where it's actually electrically conductive with your wrist or your bottom of your foot or something, or the palm of your hand is another common place to put one of those little adhesive patches that ground somebody. But I'm putting this one, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I'm putting it around where it's touching my beard, and I'll do it where it touches my hair. And I have a lot of body hair too. I could show off that, I suppose, if anybody cares. But when I wrap the wires around me, they're making contact with hair, and as we know, when hair stands up on end if you get scared, or you have that kind of if you get really cold, or if you have cortisol or other adrenaline, other hormones surge, your hair shifts electromagnetically because it is conductive with the air. And so I like to have a lot of contact with this, with various parts of my skin, various parts of, hair, whatever. I originally thought I would put these at my ankles when sleeping, and that would be most convenient, but the reality is I barely move my head, relative to my ankles when I'm sleeping. I'll move my ankle, I'll move my leg, I'll flip, I'll turn back, and 6 hours later, it's a completely different thing than with my head. If I give myself a little bit of slack, then it's very odd. I don't know that I've ever pulled one of these out of the surge protector when I had it connected to my head. And I basically just don't bother connecting it to my ankle anymore. The only time I will do that is when I'm sitting at the computer. Like right now, I'll wrap it around my ankle for convenience. Not because that's necessarily better, just so it's out of my way. So that's my short presentation. I have 5 wires in here. Again, I mentioned this in writing, but I haven't mentioned it yet in the video, so I'll restate it. I typically have it turned off. I don't know if you probably can't see, but it's actually flipped off. When I'm using this for grounding, I do not have it electrically active. I have the whole surge protector turned off. So it's simply the ground, the electrons that flow at a pretty slow rate from the earth to me through these grounded wires. So even though on these plugs there are the 2 other flat prongs, there's nothing connected to them. So there's no 110 volt or 220 volt or any of that kind of current. It's really pretty moderate, and it will vary, where you are. Not all wall outlets are grounded, so if you want to try it on a few different ones, or if you have a grounding tester, you can actually, put one of those little testers in, or a voltmeter or whatever, if you know how to do those kind of things. But most modern electrical outlets are going to be grounded. So that was my video to show off how I've come to do it. It's been maybe 6 months that I've been doing it, and I've done it a variety of different ways, but this is the most simple, cheapest, easiest way. I will unplug those and take them to a different room, or I'll take the entire power strip to a different room. Sometimes my wife and I will both use that same one power strip. That's the reason there's actually 5 plugs in there, is because she'll use 2 or 3 while I use 2 or 3. Occasionally I will use all of them, obviously when she's not there or not using any. So I also walk barefoot on the ground, or run, or whatever. I also made reference that if you're in a tub of water or in a shower where the metal of the plumbing and the piping is grounded, you're grounded. So most people who are in modern lifestyles aren't grounded most of the time with rubber-soled shoes and so on. So I'm not getting into the benefits of grounding in this video, but if you have any questions about benefits, we'll save that for another time. This is simply a little bit of the how-to, and you can also get mats or pads, things that you can put under your bed sheet so that it's out of your way and out of your view. Those tend to be $80 or $190 or whatever that people charge for that stuff. I did all this myself, as you can tell, and so I'd be happy to hear from people as to their experiments and their results. A quick note also as a precaution: if people have high blood pressure and are taking medication to lower their blood pressure, they may want to be very conservative about using this, or plan to stop taking your blood pressure medication, because this stuff will charge your red blood cells, which will repel them, meaning that they flow much more smoothly. Instead of having clumps of gravel flowing through your blood vessels, you have all these individual cells that are separated because they're all charged and they slightly repel each other. And they, instead of coagulating and clotting already within your blood vessels. So most people are lacking electrons, they're ungrounded, and they have some degree of coagulation or clotting in their blood cells on an everyday basis, which forms little clumps and clusters, which makes it much harder to press those groups of cells through the bloodstream. So it has to raise, your heart has to press much harder to get those uncharged clumps of red blood cells through. Plus, obviously, when they're clumped to each other, they're not as useful for the actual design of what red blood cells are designed to do, like move oxygen back and forth and so on. So that was a lot longer than I thought it'd be. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, feel free to let me know.